What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. This is episode number 5 and we're starting today's episode off on our back of the defeat away at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, a Christian Pulisic brace, ending our undefeated run after no losses in our last 4 Premier League games. Now taking on Leeds United here at St Mary's, back at home here on the South Coast, and Leeds to start this season off at bottom of the table. So heading into this game I was feeling very confident indeed. As we know, no longer under charge of Marco Bielsa. 4 great years, and can I just say as well, obviously it was a very somber day when Bielsa was let go for Leeds fans, because in the 4 years he'd spent at Ellen Road, he'd done a tremendous job, and I don't think anyone can deny that. You know, I'm a Millwall fan, but I've got to give the guy credit. He did some tremendous job with Leeds, taking them from mid-table in the Championship, you know, seemingly forever stuck in the second tier, one day dreaming of a return to the top flight. He delivered those dreams. He got Leeds back in the top flight, and in their first season to finish in 9th place. And he won over so many plaudits with his all-out attack brand of high energy, electrifying, fun football to watch. He did a tremendous job, but after the recent run of results and the poor season they'd had based off of last season, I guess you could say it was one of those sort of like failure by success type of ways of looking at it, do you know what I mean? Like a victim of his own success kind of thing. For Bielsa, not able to replicate the incredible first season he had in the top flight. But Jesse Marsh has since come in, and excited to see how he gets on there long term with Leeds United. But heading into this game with Leeds bottom of the table, I was thinking, okay, alright, we've just had that defeat to Chelsea, second loss of the season. Both have come against what you'd call the traditional top 6. Manchester United at home and then Chelsea away. Let's get back to winning ways here, shall we? And start the game off, the perfect start as well. Early goal, Che Adams puts us in front of his second of the season, making it 1-0. And right before the break, finally, his mini goal drought is over. Scored on his first ever appearance for the club and in the Premier League on match day 1. The leveller against Everton at Goodison Park. And when he scored that goal, I was thinking, oh mate, we could have a star in our hands here. And scored since then. I'd had so many chances as well. You'd see it in the highlights, man, but I just kept on missing like every single one-on-one I had. Finally, Ritsu gets his second of the season, bends one past Meslier, in off the post. We lead by 2-0, and then in the second half, our 2 goal scorers in the first half linked up for our third. I love it when that happens as well, when you've got 2 goal scorers, and then for the third goal, they link up together. Whoever gets it or whoever assists, it doesn't matter. It's just so cool when it happens. Che Adams scored our first, Ritsu bagged our second, and then they linked up for our third as Che assists our Japanese winger who bags his brace. And like London buses, you wait so long for one and then 2 come along at once. Yep, finally his goal drought ended with a brace here against Leeds United in a big 3-0 victory on the South Coast as we return to winning ways. So yeah, back at a loss to Chelsea. Talk about a brilliant response here. Beat Leeds by 3-0. Thought the stats were quite deceptive in this game as well. It seemed to suggest the game was quite even. It wasn't. Leeds had a good start to the game, but after we weathered the early storm, we were the far superior team and definitely deserved the win. 3-0 the final score, back to winning ways. Another clean sheet as well. Goodness gracious me. Sam Johnston with 4 clean sheets in 5 games. And I'm talking about Ritsu as being a great signing. Already 3 goals for the season since coming in from PSV Eindhoven. Well, that fee was 20.5 mil. But if you look at the numbers here, Sam Johnston, he cost us 4 mil from West Brom. Dude's on fire, man. And right now leading the way in the race for the Golden Glove. So following game, Burnley at home. Kyle Walker-Peters coming back from his injury but not starting this game on the back of our clean sheet against Leeds. Looking for back-to-back victories here against Sean Dyche's Claret. Well, I've got to be honest here, this is a really tough game. One of those games where there's very little going on. Chances coming at a premium, and in the end the goalless draw was probably the right result as well. Couple of missed chances. I fired one so far wide with Broha. I mean, it almost went towards the corner flag. In fact, it did. It was closer to the corner flag than the far post, I think. But even so, drew the game 0-0. And the stats there, I talked about the Leeds game being very deceptive in terms of stats. no, those stats were as accurate as they get. And as I often say, like, I present my highlights packages very, very fairly. They're as fair as they can be. I don't sweep anything under the rug. I show you the full story. If we've got dominated in a game, I'm going to show you me getting dominated. And there are games like that one where, like, I'm not going to sit there and say, like, Burnley dominated me and I was hanging on for a clean sheet. No, there was very little going on. They almost won it towards the end. Good stop by Sam, but other than that, very, very uneventful game there in a tedious goalless draw. But I'll take it, because it means we've only lost once in our last 6 Premier League games, and yet another clean sheet. 5 in 6 for Sam Johnston. Unbelievable start to the campaign for our new man between the sticks. And it's safe to say, you know, one of Fraser Forster or McCarthy was going to move on in the summer window. In the end, it was the great big giant Fraser Forster going to Sheffield United, but Johnston was always going to be my replacement regardless. Made the right choice. Dude's been unbelievable. Still, third game of 4 in today's episode, and well, a moment ago there I was talking about my defence and how good it's been to start the season off, Johnston being a big reason why. Liverpool, Carabao Cup, last 16 here, taking on the holders of the competition, winning it of course against Chelsea a couple of weeks ago. I mean, yeah, that's not really what you call solid defence and not what you'd associate with the Saints based on the start of the season. Ball cut across, I think it was by Sadio Mane, the former Saint of course. And with Lyanco, I just didn't react on time. Dribbled into McCarthy. The ball squirmed out of his hands and Mo Salah said, cheers for that one. I think I read after his goal against Brighton from the spot on the weekend, he's now scored, I think it's 20 plus goals a season in 4 of the 5 years he spent at Anfield. I think that's right. That's an incredible a goal record to have, you know, for a guy that's not traditionally what you consider to be a number 9. And I really feel, well, first of all, it pays homage to modern football and the importance of inside forwards in football nowadays. But also, as well, how good is Mo Salah? He scored the only goal of the game in this one as we'll exit the Carabao Cup here at this stage, but to be honest, wasn't really too fussed. First was the Carabao Cup, and we were coming against a far superior side, and I had a backup side out there, and the Premier League games are far more important anyway. But for Mo Salah, I mean, okay, that was one of the easiest goals to score in his career, but how good is this guy, man? Seriously. And, you know, when you think about the recent years, and you think about the elite footballers on the planet, if Mo Salah's not in that list, then, you know, something's wrong. This dude consistently has been unbelievable for years since joining Liverpool. He really is just a tremendous player to watch. And is it crazy to say that Salah could be considered underrated by some people? I'm not entirely sure, but I tell you what, when Mo Salah's on the pitch, he's just an absolute joy to watch. He does things with so much flair, smile on his face. He's just one of those brilliant flair type of footballers that backs it up with the stats as well. So on the back of the loss and exit in the Carabao Cup in the last 16, now travelling away to Vicarage Road to take on Watford, the Hornets, newly promoted to the Premier League this season, of course, and as we know, their recent history of chopping and changing managers so frequently, continuing this season. For those that haven't been able to keep track, it's Roy Hodgson now in charge of Watford. He was celebrating the first goal of the game as well. This is a really, really tough one here away from him against the newly promoted side here. On the back of the loss to Liverpool, I was looking for a big response like we had after our defeat to Chelsea, but I just didn't get it in this game. Unlike against Leeds, where I turned up and responded brilliantly, just didn't play especially well in this one. Broher had the first chance of the game, denied. We were still tied at 0-0, and once Watford got in front, I did create a couple of chances, but they were what you call half-hearted efforts, really. They weren't really the most clear and concise opportunities, and my finishing just wasn't really there. And you've seen to start the season off as well, goals for me have come at a premium. We're one of the lowest scorers in the league to start the campaign off, and this game kind of showed exactly why. I do take a lot of shots, but they're often at times not what you'd call the most goal-best shots. Goal-best shots? What? They're not the shots which have the best chance of resulting in goals. Have I just coined a new term? Goal best shots? I don't think so. I can't see that catching on somehow. But even so, we didn't create that many great chances. Again, there were a couple ones like here with 5 minutes to go, Ritsu Doan firing wide as he looks in search of his 4th goal of the season, but couldn't hit the target. And we lost the game by 2-0. Ivan scored their second with 10 minutes to go. God knows why Jan Bednarek was complaining in the build-up to that goal. He tripped over his own feet and thought it was a foul. But you see the stats come full time here. And I talked about the stats earlier as well, how I don't sweep things under the rug. I had 8 shots in the game, yeah, but most of the shots weren't exactly the most, I'm going to say, goal-best attempts, if you will. Yeah, I didn't really have that many chances scoring with many of them in the end and lost the game by 2 goals. Probably rightfully so as well. Watford's chances were at a far higher quality than ours. So 2-0 the final score. It's only our 3rd defeat of the season though, so not going to hit the panic button there. Lost to Watford away, yes, but still in 11th place. We haven't been too bad start the campaign off, and it's been a realistic start to the season, exactly what I was hoping for. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. Big fan for watching. I enjoyed it. If you hadn't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode very soon.